National Electrical Code Section 406.8 states that electrical equipment shall be installed so that it does not pose a physical hazard to personnel. National Electrical Code Section 406.8 states that electrical equipment shall be guarded against accidental contact by readily accessible live parts. NFPA 800.1, which is the standard for fire protection for facilities handling radioactive materials and combustible liquids, requires a minimum of 3 feet of clearance around an eyewash station for emergency access. ANSI/ISEA Z358.1, which is the standard for emergency eyewash and shower equipment, specifies a minimum of 2 feet of clearance around an eyewash station on 3 sides. Considering the placement of a 200 amp 3-phase panel less than a foot from an eyewash station and drinking fountain, and only 4 inches from the drain basin, civil potential code violations arise. The location of the electrical panel is likely too close to the eyewash station and drinking fountain, creating a potential physical hazard and impeding emergency access. The panel may not be properly guarded against accidental contact, posing a risk of electrical shock. There are recommended actions that can be taken to address these potential violations. Firstly, contact the contractor. Express your concerns about the location of the electrical panel and request that it be relocated to a safer and code-compliant location. Secondly, contact the State Fire Marshal's office. They have the authority to inspect the installation and determine if it complies with the applicable code requirements. Thirdly, consult with a qualified electrician. An experienced electrician can provide guidance on alternative locations for the panel that meet code requirements and ensure the safety of the building occupants. There are also additional considerations to keep in mind. The close proximity of the panel to the drain basin raises concerns about water damage and potential electrical hazards. It's advisable to consider installing a protective barrier around the panel to prevent accidental contact with water. Finally, ensure that there is adequate signage and training for personnel on the location and proper use of the eyewash station and drinking fountain in case of an emergency. The National Electrical Code, or NEC, is a widely adopted standard for the safe installation of electrical wiring and equipment in the United States. It is part of the National Fire Codes series published by the National Fire Protection Association, or NFPA. While the NEC itself is not law, it is commonly adopted by state and local jurisdictions for legal enforcement. The purpose of the NEC is to safeguard people and property from hazards arising from the use of electricity. It covers a wide range of electrical installations, including wiring for buildings, electrical equipment, and systems. The NEC is revised and updated every 3 years to reflect the latest advancements in electrical technology and safety practices. Compliance with the NEC is essential for ensuring the safety and reliability of electrical installations. It helps to prevent electrical shocks, fires, and other hazards that can result from improper wiring or equipment installation. The NEC provides detailed requirements for various aspects of electrical work, such as conductor sizing, overcurrent protection, grounding, and wiring methods. It also addresses specific requirements for different types of occupancies, such as residential, commercial, and industrial buildings. The NEC is organized into chapters, articles, and sections, making it easy to navigate and find the information needed for specific electrical installations. It also includes informative annexes that provide additional guidance and explanations. It is important for electrical contractors, engineers, inspectors, and other professionals involved in electrical work to be familiar with the NEC and to follow its requirements carefully. Proper training and understanding of the NEC are essential for ensuring safe and compliant electrical installations. The NEC is a valuable resource for promoting electrical safety and protecting people and property from electrical hazards. NFPA 800.1, the standard for fire protection for facilities handling radioactive materials, provides fire protection requirements for facilities that handle radioactive materials. These requirements are designed to minimize the risk of fire and to protect personnel and property in the event of a fire. The standard covers a wide range of topics, including fire prevention, fire detection, fire suppression, and emergency planning. It also addresses specific hazards associated with radioactive materials such as radiation exposure and contamination. NFPA 801 requires facilities to develop and implement a fire protection program that includes procedures for preventing fires, detecting fires, and suppressing fires. The program must also include training for personnel on fire safety and emergency response. The standard specifies requirements for fire detection and suppression systems such as fire alarms, sprinkler systems, and portable fire extinguishers. It also addresses the storage and handling of flammable and combustible materials, as well as the control of ignition sources. NFPA 801 requires facilities to conduct regular fire risk assessments to identify potential hazards and to implement appropriate fire prevention measures. It also requires facilities to develop and maintain emergency plans that address fire emergencies, including evacuation procedures and communication protocols. Compliance with NFPA 801 is essential for ensuring the safety of personnel and property in facilities that handle radioactive materials. It helps to minimize the risk of fire and to provide a safe environment for workers and visitors. The standard is regularly updated to reflect the latest advancements in fire protection technology and safety practices. ANSI/ISEA Z358.1 is the American national standard for emergency eyewash and shower equipment. This standard establishes minimum performance requirements for eyewash and shower equipment used to flush hazardous materials from the eyes, face, and body. The purpose of ANSI/ISEA Z358.1 is to provide a uniform and definitive set of requirements for the design, installation, and maintenance of emergency eyewash and shower equipment. Compliance with this standard helps to ensure that workers are provided with effective and reliable equipment for mitigating the effects of exposure to hazardous materials. ANSI/ISEA Z358.1 specifies requirements for various aspects of eyewash and shower equipment, including water flow rates, water temperature, activation time, and accessibility. It also addresses the location and installation of equipment, as well as the training of personnel on its proper use. The standard requires eyewash and shower equipment to be located in areas where workers are exposed to hazardous materials, and it specifies minimum distances from potential hazards. It also requires equipment to be readily accessible and free from obstructions. ANSI/ISEA Z358.1 specifies that eyewash equipment must be capable of delivering a continuous flow of potable water for a minimum of 15 minutes. It also specifies that shower equipment must be capable of delivering a continuous flow of potable water for a minimum of 15 minutes. The standard requires that water used in eyewash and shower equipment be tepid, meaning between 60 degrees Fahrenheit and 100 degrees Fahrenheit. This temperature range is considered to be the most comfortable and effective for flushing hazardous materials from the eyes and skin. ANSI/ISEA Z358.1 requires that eyewash and shower equipment be activated within 1 second of actuation. This ensures that workers can quickly and effectively flush hazardous materials from their eyes and skin. The standard also requires that equipment be designed to operate hands-free once activated, allowing workers to keep their hands free to assist with flushing. ANSI/ISEA Z358.1 requires that employers provide training to workers on the proper use of emergency eyewash and shower equipment. This training should include instruction on the location of equipment, the proper activation procedures, and the importance of flushing for the full 15-minute duration. The standard also recommends that employers conduct regular inspections and maintenance of eyewash and shower equipment to ensure that it is in proper working order. Compliance with ANSI/ISEA Z358.1 is essential for ensuring the safety of workers who are exposed to hazardous materials. By providing effective and reliable eyewash and shower equipment, employers can help to minimize the severity of injuries and protect workers from the long-term effects of exposure. It is important to note that the requirements of ANSI/ISEA Z358.1 may vary depending on the specific application and the type of hazardous materials involved. Employers should consult with a qualified safety professional to determine the appropriate requirements for their workplace. In addition to the specific requirements of ANSI/ISEA Z358.1, employers should also consider other relevant safety standards and regulations, such as those promulgated by the Occupational Safety and Health Administration, or OSHA. By implementing a comprehensive safety program that addresses all potential hazards, employers can create a safer and healthier workplace for their employees. The NEC clearance requirements for electrical panels are important for ensuring safety and accessibility. These requirements specify the minimum amount of clear space that must be maintained around electrical panels to allow for safe operation, maintenance, and emergency access. Specific clearance requirements vary depending on the voltage of the equipment and the location of the panel. For example, the NEC requires a minimum of 3 feet of clear space in front of electrical panels operating at 600 volts or less. This clear space must be free from obstructions, such as stored materials, equipment, or building structures. In addition to the clear space in front of the panel, the NEC also specifies clearance requirements for the sides and rear of the panel. These clearances are typically less than the front clearance, but they are still important for ensuring accessibility and ventilation. The NEC also addresses the clearance requirements for electrical panels located in confined spaces, such as electrical rooms or closets. In these situations, the NEC may require additional clearances or other safety measures to ensure that workers can safely access and work on the equipment. It is important to note that the NEC clearance requirements are minimum requirements, and in some cases, it may be necessary to provide additional clearance to ensure safety and accessibility. For example, if the panel is located in an area with heavy traffic or where there is a risk of accidental contact, it may be necessary to provide additional protection, such as barriers or guards. Compliance with the NEC clearance requirements is essential for ensuring the safety of workers and the proper operation of electrical equipment. Failure to comply with these requirements can result in electrical shocks, fires, and other hazards. Therefore, it is important for electrical contractors, engineers, and inspectors to be familiar with the NEC clearance requirements and to follow them carefully when installing and maintaining electrical panels. The State Fire Marshal's Office typically has the authority to inspect electrical installations and determine if they comply with the applicable code requirements. This authority is derived from state laws and regulations that delegate responsibility for fire safety and code enforcement to the State Fire Marshal's Office. The specific powers and duties of the State Fire Marshal's Office vary from state to state, but they generally include the following: conducting inspections of buildings and facilities to ensure compliance with fire safety codes and regulations, investigating fires to determine their cause and origin, enforcing fire safety codes and regulations, providing training and education on fire safety to the public and to fire service personnel, and issuing permits and licenses for certain activities that pose a fire risk. In the context of electrical installations, the State Fire Marshal's Office may inspect the installation to ensure that it complies with the National Electrical Code, or NEC, and other applicable fire safety codes. This inspection may include verifying that the electrical equipment is properly installed, that the wiring is properly sized and protected, that the grounding system is adequate, and that the clearances around electrical equipment are sufficient. If the State Fire Marshal's Office finds that an electrical installation does not comply with the applicable code requirements, it may issue a notice of violation and require the property owner or contractor to correct the deficiencies. In some cases, the State Fire Marshal's Office may also impose penalties for code violations. It is important to note that the State Fire Marshal's Office is not the only entity that may inspect electrical installations. Local building departments and electrical inspectors may also have the authority to inspect electrical work and to enforce code requirements. However, the State Fire Marshal's Office typically has a broader scope of authority and may be involved in more complex or high-risk electrical installations. Consulting with a qualified electrician is crucial for ensuring the safety and compliance of electrical installations. Electricians possess the knowledge, skills, and experience necessary to properly design, install, and maintain electrical systems in accordance with the National Electrical Code, or NEC, and other applicable codes and standards. When selecting an electrician, it is important to choose one who is licensed and insured. Licensing ensures that the electrician has met certain minimum qualifications and has passed an examination demonstrating their knowledge of electrical codes and practices. Insurance protects the property owner from liability in the event of an accident or injury caused by the electrician's work. A qualified electrician can provide a wide range of services, including designing electrical systems for new construction or renovations, installing wiring, outlets, switches, and lighting fixtures, troubleshooting electrical problems, repairing or replacing faulty electrical equipment, and performing electrical safety inspections. When consulting with an electrician about a specific project, it is important to provide them with as much information as possible about the scope of work, the budget, and any specific requirements or concerns. The electrician can then assess the project and provide a detailed proposal outlining the work to be performed, the materials to be used, and the estimated cost. It is also important to ask the electrician about their experience with similar projects and to request references from previous clients. A qualified electrician will be able to answer questions clearly and confidently and will be able to provide evidence of their expertise and professionalism. In addition to their technical skills, a qualified electrician will also be familiar with the latest electrical codes and safety standards. They will be able to ensure that all work is performed in accordance with these codes and standards, minimizing the risk of electrical shocks, fires, and other hazards. Overall, consulting with a qualified electrician is an investment in the safety and reliability of an electrical system. By choosing a licensed and insured electrician with the necessary skills and experience, property owners can ensure that their electrical work is performed safely, correctly, and in compliance with all applicable codes and standards. Water damage and potential electrical hazards are significant concerns when electrical panels are located in close proximity to water sources. Water is an excellent conductor of electricity, and even a small amount of water can create a path for electrical current to flow, leading to electrical shocks, fires, and equipment damage. When an electrical panel is located near a water source, such as a drain basin or an eyewash station, there is an increased risk of water splashing or leaking into the panel. This water can then come into contact with live electrical components, creating a dangerous situation. To mitigate the risk of water damage and electrical hazards, several precautions should be taken. Firstly, the electrical panel should be located as far away from the water source as possible. This will help to minimize the chance of water splashing or leaking into the panel. Secondly, the electrical panel should be properly sealed to prevent water from entering. This can be accomplished by using watertight conduit fittings, sealing any openings in the panel enclosure, and installing a drip shield above the panel to deflect water. Thirdly, a ground fault circuit interrupter, or GFCI, should be installed in the circuit feeding the electrical panel. A GFCI is a device that detects small imbalances in electrical current and quickly shuts off the power to the circuit, preventing electrical shocks. Fourthly, regular inspection should be conducted to check for any signs of water damage or leaks. If any water is found, the power to the panel should be immediately shut off, and a qualified electrician should be called to inspect the panel and make any necessary repairs. In addition to these precautions, it is also important to ensure that the area around the electrical panel is kept clean and dry. Any spills or leaks should be cleaned up immediately, and the area should be well ventilated to prevent moisture buildup. By taking these precautions, the risk of water damage and potential electrical hazards can be significantly reduced, ensuring the safety of personnel and equipment. Signage and training are essential components of a comprehensive safety program, particularly in areas where there are potential hazards, such as electrical panels and eyewash stations. Signage serves as a visual reminder of potential hazards and provides important information about how to avoid them. Signs should be clearly visible and easy to understand, and they should be placed in strategic locations where they will be most effective. For example, a sign should be placed near an electrical panel warning of the potential for electrical shock. A sign should also be placed near an eyewash station indicating its location and purpose. Training provides personnel with the knowledge and skills necessary to work safely around potential hazards. Training should cover topics such as the identification of hazards, the proper use of safety equipment, and emergency procedures. Training should be conducted regularly and should be tailored to the specific hazards present in the workplace. In the case of electrical panels, training should cover topics such as the dangers of electricity, the proper use of personal protective equipment, and the procedures for working safely on or near electrical equipment. In the case of eyewash stations, training should cover topics such as the proper use of the eyewash station, the types of chemicals that may require eyewash treatment, and the importance of seeking medical attention after exposure. In addition to formal training programs, it is also important to provide ongoing safety reminders and reinforcement. This can be done through toolbox talks, safety meetings, and other informal communication channels. By providing clearer signage and comprehensive training, employers can help to create a safer and more informed workplace, reducing the risk of accidents and injuries.